name is Dejay Dowling, she, her pronouns. I oversee all fraternity and sorority life organizations as well as sports clubs. I also oversee all event applications as well. So I think already this semester we have gotten over 800 event applications, right? I'm down to like 90 in my queue. So like, you know, that's 700. I've done, like, between me and my team, we've done a really great job of dividing and conquering. So this presentation is meant to be very informative. Because it is being recorded, if you could hold off on all your questions so that our video editor doesn't have to slice and dice this presentation. And then of course we can customize this in case you have any questions that populate at the end of this session. So we'll go ahead. JK, moving too fast. So in today's topics, we'll go over the Student Activities website. We'll talk a little bit about OrgSync. So this is where you live as a student organization. This is pretty much like your version of Google Drive, right? So you can put all your forms, your documents, you can create news articles as well. You can see what other orgs are doing. And this is where you'll also submit any events. We'll talk about space reservations and event planning, policies and procedures when it comes to events, risk management, and then resources for you as an organization. So event planning. So I'm going to go ahead and show you our Student Activities website. So I'm just going to be swapping screens. Laura, can you see my? Okay, awesome. So this is our lovely Student Activities website. So this will be one of your main ways to get onto OrgSync. So you'll just scroll all the way down to the bottom. Anytime we have any upcoming events, so we do monthly workshops for not only our officers, but also for our advisors as well, in case your advisor is very interested in just being a part or learning something new or connecting with other advisors. If a prospective student wants to know more about student organizations, they can just click that search student organizations button, and it'll take them to OrgSync, where you'll be able to see that organization tab. Then you have involvement advising as well. So involvement advising is a pretty cool program that we have within Student Activities. So this allows prospective members or new students here at UNT who are looking to get involved. But here at UNT, we have over 400 student orgs, a lot of departmental programs, a lot of events happening. So that can be very overwhelming as a new student, right? So this is a way for them to fill out a form and they can customize this to their liking. And then we have OrgSync, of course. So we'll go ahead and log on to OrgSync. So when you log in, this is what your OrgSync page should look like. So this is our Explore page, right? So anytime you are part of an organization, you'll see this in your membership. So you can see all of my memberships here at the bottom, any events that are currently happening right now. So our event management one is currently happening at this moment. And then any news articles for an organization. Pretty much these tabs here at the top are just a further expansion of our homepage. So you can look at more events in depth. You can look at the organizations and that we currently have registered right now, any news articles, and then forms that we have as well. So as officers, you not only will have the Explore page, but you'll also have the Manage page. So this Manage page allows you to kind of navigate and customize your portal, right? So for me, I have a Student Activities page, membership, as well as a other memberships as well. What will be different from yours versus mine? So I see everything. So I see 83 event applications currently pending. I see all forms that have been created by anyone who has an account with OrgSync, right? So you have 68,000 right up here. And then registrations for our student orgs that are still getting registered for this fall semester, right? So if you are submitting any events, this will be your pending section. So when you submit your events, and I'll show you a little bit later on how to submit any events or create events, anytime you submit it, you can always see what the status is of your event. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my membership. So right here, we like to call this the hamburger because it has 3 lines, right? And so this is pretty much how you will navigate your OrgSync portal. So in here, you can customize your roster. So if you're looking to customize your roster, you can go and invite people. If you are looking to update anything or put any documents, you can also put documents, kind of like your Google Drive, right? But what we want to really talk about and emphasize is events. So if you are ever looking to figure out how to create an event, you'll go to this hamburger, you'll go to events, and then you'll click this blue button that says create event. In this will then prompt a series of different questions. So this first page right over here is our event details. So this is that calendar page that you see on our Explore page. This pretty much is a snapshot of your event because you really want to sell it to students who may be interested in attending, right? So you'll, do an eye-catching name. If you would like to put a theme, so let's say you're doing a service project, then you can click the theme as service project. And then you'll put in your description. From there, you'll then put in your date. So if you want to put in today's date, we usually recommend that you do at least five business days if it's not a risky event. So non-risky events are considered to be like our meetings, right? Smaller events. But if it has some type of risk, whether you're going to have over 100 people, or you're planning to do some type of fundraiser, or you're planning to have a bounce house, I need at least 15 business days. And that 15 business days actually starts when both your president and your advisor give a thumbs up approval, right? So from there, you'll then go and you'll put in your prospective location. And then once you fill out all this information, you can put categories. So a lot of students will put multiple categories. So you'll put like maybe student organization. Maybe if you have, health and wellness aspects to your event, you'll click that as well. That way it populates on our event page. If you're giving anything free, so like students love free food, they love free t-shirts. We continuously give out t-shirts, I feel like almost every week, right? So this is just one way to just advertise, because students can then customize their events tab to then say, oh, okay, I want to know what events have free food. I had a previous student a couple years ago who was like, hey, Dejay, I really want to get involved with a lot of different organizations. And so what they did was they pretty much based it off of who was serving food. So he was able to get lunch, dinner, snacks, and he also ended up making a lot of new friends as well. So this is just one way to advertise, not saying that you should do it, but it's also another way to just meet new people. From there, this will take you to the next page, and this will go into our extensive part of our event application. So we'll ask all the questions. So we'll ask, are you a student organization? Do you belong to fraternity and sorority life? Are you looking to book space on campus, and so on and so forth. So I'll go into that a little bit later, just so that you can kind of see as we go through it. I also want to highlight as well your account information. So this is very important. So if you are maybe going to be the person that is either the president of your organization or you're submitting any events, a lot of students don't look at their My UNT email address, right? It's okay if you don't, but it's packed with a lot of great information. So you have your Gmail, your AOL account. So you can put any notifications that you want to go. So let's say you want all of your event applications notifications to go to your Gmail. You can then put your Gmail, so that way all notifications goes to the Gmail account, because you check that more frequently than your My UNT account. So I actually prepared an event application for you. So let me go with events demo. So I've already prepped this event application for you. So this is what it looks like on my end of things, as well as the officer's end of things. So in this, you will be able to kind of see how you filled out your event application, or if you're the president and you had your, maybe your secretary or another member fill out this event application, this is what they'll see. So in this, I'll expand it all. So this first page, as I said, is your events details or your calendar details. So this is pretty much that eye-catching page that you want people to see at the when they first click on your event. If you want it to be shown to the public, you can just show it to the public. If you just want it exclusive for your organization, you can most certainly customize it as well. In this, you can also see that I customized it to show up in student organizations. I said I was giving out free stuff. I unfortunately do not have any free stuff for you today. I'm sorry. If you RSVP, so if you want to have anyone RSVP for your event, so you kind of get an idea of how many people will be in attendance or who will be in attendance, you can also customize that as well. And then if you want to do any type of surveys or feedback, this is also just another addition for you that a lot of student organizations don't utilize. So from here, this is where your event application will first start when we ask you very pertinent questions. So we'll ask, are you a student organization? So you'll click, yes, I am a student organization. Are you requesting space on campus for this event? So you'll always click yes, unless you are doing a virtual event, because then you won't need space, or if you're doing something off campus, because we can't book spaces off campus, right? If you are interested in doing anything in a fraternity and sorority house, if that applies to you, then you click yes. If not, then no. If you're doing any tabling, so tabling forms do not go through the event application process. They actually go through the Solicitation Permit application, which I'll talk about a little bit later, which is with the university union. So from there, we'll ask questions about your eligibility to submit an application. So more than likely, if you have access to this blue button to create an event, you are more than likely registered for this academic year. We changed registration for organizations. So before it used to be every semester, so every fall and spring. Now it's just annually. So once you register for the fall, you don't have to register in spring, which is probably great for your organization, but it's also great for us as well, because we have, like I said, 400 plus student organizations. From there, we'll ask you to sign off and say that you understand with with all of our policies and procedures when it comes to the event application. And then in this, we'll ask org information. So we'll ask for the event contact name. So make sure that the event contact name is a current student. It cannot be an off-campus student or maybe an advisor, because there's a section for your on-campus advisor a little bit further down the line. And we'll sometimes need to reach out to that person in case anything were to happen with your event or we need more information as well. From there, we ask for your email address, the full name of your president, and then we'll also ask for your advisor in case there's anything that we need to get in contact with the organization and both the president and the event contact are not either contacting us back or whatever the case may be. From there, we'll ask what type of event you'll be hosting. So we have a variety of different options. So I selected meeting because this is considered to be a meeting, but also a workshop. If you're partnering with any local businesses, maybe you're doing anything with departments or businesses, this would be the space for you to click yes. If you're looking to do any outdoor space, so outdoor space could be maybe if you want to do something in the lawn or if you want to do something, in library mall, this would be the place for you to click it. And then if you're looking for a series event or a one-time event reservation. So you have the option to do consecutive events. So let's say if you want to book, your weekly meetings for the rest of fall semester, you can go and click that. Just make sure that you select series events, because again, it does get very tedious when you put one-time reservations for a series event. That way we know to book you in a room for the whole semester as opposed for a one-time service. From there, you'll then put what location you would like. So you would put classroom. I put my preference as the BLB because it's nice and shiny. So in your preference, I always say don't put specific room numbers, just put buildings. We are very limited to the amount of space that we can book. And it is also, we review them on a first come, first served basis. So a lot of students want the BLB. It is very hard to book in the BLB because departments have priority, right? So classes must go on because this is an academic environment, and then so on and so forth. So sometimes we're not able to book the BLB even though we want to. So just make sure that you have multiple building options instead of specific rooms. So I put Wooten and ESSC. Then you can put your date choices. So I always say have 3 different date choices. This way you're not limiting your options. You want to cast a wide net for your options, right? So in this, I just put today's date just because I knew that we were already having this event. You have to get approval if you're doing anything during finals week by the Dean of Students. So typically that's during reading day. This semester, reading day, the last date for you to have any events will be November 30th. So after November 30th, it must get approval by Dr. McGinnis. And she'll be tagged on the event application. And then it'll go into setup time. So for series events, we usually allow about 1.5 hours, but if you want to have a one-time event, you can have, of course, like 3 to 4 hours as well, as long as it's within the building times. You can have more than that if you want to do like a retreat and you want it to be a 6-hour event, just making sure that it falls within opening and closing time of the building. From there, we then ask what kind of activities you'll have. So this is where we rely on the organization to be very descriptive. So if you are planning to have a carnival out on the South Lawn, I need to know who's going to be the rental company. What kind of activities are you going to have? Are you planning to have food? Are you planning to have vendors? Things of that nature. So just for the purpose of this meeting, I said no food and no drinks, and there won't be any other activities outside of this meeting. But if you were to do this event, of course, make sure that you do explain in thorough detail, because sometimes we'll have to go back and forth in comments, and that only delays your reservation. So we want to make sure that we know everything up front. From there, we ask just how you're marketing this event, whether it be social media, whether you're marketing off campus. We want to know if you're bringing people off campus as well, just so that we have an idea in case there may be a larger crowd. Because if you're putting things in local, maybe coffee shops or in bookstores, then we'll probably get a mass amount of people, more than you'll probably expect. And then in this, we'll also ask how many people you're inviting from your organization. So we just need a guesstimation. There's no need for you to have like exact numbers of like getting a tally at the meeting and figuring out how many people are actually going to attend. If your faculty or staff member will be there, or if any other faculty and staff will be there, and then if any off-campus guests. So this is just a guesstimation, just so that we know how to best accommodate you for reserving space. If you have any minors that will be attending, so typically children, not TAM students, because TAM students are considered to be UNT students. If you're inviting any off-campus guests, and then we have a whole bunch of understanding and agreement statements saying that you'll follow our policy and to make sure that you're just checking to understand university policies, and that if not, that you could be liable as an organization and possibly sanctioned. So that is a very long spiel of our event application process. If you ever want to comment, maybe you have some questions or you want to add something that you maybe forgot, maybe you come back a day later and you're like, hey, DJ, I forgot that I want to have a zip line at this event instead of just a bounce house. Please put that so that I know, so that I can prepare for that, right? On the right-hand side, what you'll see is all of the reviewers. So based off of how I filled the event application, you'll see your reviewers. So you'll always have your advisor and your president as a reviewer. Right here, you won't see it on mine just because the portal that I selected doesn't have an advisor or a president. But you'll see the advisor and the president, and they'll typically be level 3. And so once they go ahead and give a thumbs up, then it goes to the next level. So that could be either food safety or maybe the space reviewer. So as you can see, Mari Brown is considered to be the reviewer for classrooms. So from there, she'll go ahead and book your classroom. And once she has booked that classroom, she'll leave a comment in the event application, as well as all of our reviewers, and give you a thumbs up. And then if there are any questions that we may have, just make sure to look for those in the comment sections. You'll usually get notifications via your email. And then once we're all done, I'll go ahead and approve the event application once it has received all thumbs up from all of the reviewers. So that is our event application in a nutshell. So I'm going to switch back. And then please feel free at the end of this presentation if you have any other questions. So the event application, so I kind of already went over this, but this is how you'll create an event application on OrgSync. So after you have registered for the semester, please provide all details, be flexible with your date and location times, and the last day to hold event is typically the day before reading day. So this fall will be November 30th, and then in spring, it'll be May 5th, so Cinco de Mayo. Submit at least 15 days prior to your event happening. And this is just so that you can give your president and your advisor a heads up, being like, hey, I went ahead and submitted an event application. We can't get a space booked until you go ahead and approve it. Online events are always recommended to be submitted. And it's just a great way for students who are checking OrgSync to say, oh, okay, this organization is having an online event. After you complete it, of course, reach out to your president and your advisor. If there are any edits that need to be made, you can either comment or call our office, and then notifications will be sent to your preferred emails. And then you can always see your progress in your submissions tab. So marketing and mindful practices. So whenever you are marketing your meeting or event, make sure that you utilize the news article section in OrgSync. That's just another way that we found, especially over this last year during our virtual pandemic realm, that a lot of organizations have been able to really market to new students based on the news article section. Then also tagging us in social media. We will repost your organization's events as long as you tag UNT, or if you send us in a DM as well, we'll be able to post that as well, as long as you submit an event application, of course. Eagle mail request. So this is pretty much a form that is located within OrgSync, and this will be publicized through the whole to the whole UNT. So you can customize the form based on who you would like the information to be sent out to. So pretty much it's just a general email, kind of like your UNT Today emails that you get, that you can send out and advertise to all students. And if you also wanted to do, I think departments as well, you can also do that based on colleges. Policies and procedures, just making sure that you follow all policies and procedures, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Mindful practices is just keep in mind. So when you do have an event and it has been approved, just be mindful of the noise level. So as you can see, like classes are still in session. We also have late night classes as well for graduate students. So just be mindful of the noise level. If we do get several complaints that your organization has been making a lot of noise and disturbing the academic atmosphere, we will cancel your reservation and you may have to go through the kind of process. Also, just making sure that you clean up. No one likes to clean up after anyone, so just clean up after yourself. So throwing away those pizza boxes, those water bottles, and then moving furniture back. So sometimes we have organizations that will go across the hall and they need more chairs, and they'll just grab those chairs and then they'll completely forget about it at the end of the meeting. Get it back, because that professor the next morning will probably be upset that they don't have enough chairs for their class the next morning. So fundraising and co-sponsorships. So this is just 2 ways that you can apply this to your organization. So fundraising, so we have a fundraising letter for your organization. So if you are looking to do maybe a co-sponsorship with Chipotle, or maybe if you want to do it with a local coffee shop, but you don't have a what is it called, Asia? I can't think of the name. Fundraising, the letter. If you're not tax exempt, right? So if you're not tax exempt as a university organization, you are not considered to be a tax exempt organization. But we can write a letter on your behalf saying that your organization is registered with Student Activities for this academic year. That way they can accept it so that you can have that fundraising check. Co-sponsorship, so we do a lot of partnerships with our student organizations, and that's just another way that you can, of course, receive money or funding for your organization. And then other ideas as well as just, participating in sold workshops. We have a treasurer's training that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks or months, as well as checking any resources as well. So we have a lot of resources either on our YouTube channel or either on our website. So just making sure that you check all resources to see how you can best optimize for your organization to have a successful academic year. So I'm going to go into policies and procedures. This is not my favorite part of this presentation, but it's the most important for sure. We want to make sure that you're in compliance with not only university policy, but also state policy as well. So solicitation. So as an organization, you do have the right to solicit, which is pretty much just recruiting members, promoting any organization activities, accepting donations, and pursuing fundraising. So the solicitation permit is found on the university union's website, Conference and Event Services. What you'll do is you'll just fill out that form on their website, you'll submit it to them, and then they will actually then give you a table. So you kind of see, like, as you're walking through the union, a lot of organizations that are tabling either outside or inside the union. So that's just another way for you to advertise any upcoming events. Fundraising, so don't know if you know, but raffles are illegal in the state of Texas. So if you want to have, and I say this very loosely, if you want to have a raffle, right? Let's not call it a raffle, let's actually talk about it, and let's break down ways that you can actually fundraise for your event or your activity. Selling and distributing food or beverages, so you can't sell any type of items, right? You can ask for donations, but you can't tell people, okay, this is a donut, you have to give me $2 for the donut. You have to ask, hey, can you give a donation? Usually more than likely people will give that $2 donation. Homemade baked goods sales are actually not allowed on campus. And this is just from a liability standpoint, right? We don't want you to add any type of extra mixtures to your batter if you're making cookies, or if you are putting too much salt, or you have bad eggs. This is just from a liability standpoint, because if anyone does get sick, they do have the right to sue you and as an organization. So we always say prepackaged foods, using it from a vendor as well. We do have in your event application, if you want to do like any events with food, there is a food permit that you would have to fill out. And then our food safety director then goes and reviews it. As long as it's like an approved vendor like Crooked Crust or Chipotle or Domino's, more than likely they have a valid permit, right? So other policies and procedures. So when you're doing any type of marketing for your event, making sure that any posters or flyers are posted in the correct spaces, right? So open bulletin boards. So open bulletin boards, typically they're open face, they don't have a glass case in front of those. You can post. You'll probably see other flyers as well. Enclosed or departmental bulletin boards, they pretty much are locked, in the academic buildings. You cannot post in those. You can also post in residence halls. So as long as you just reach out to the community director, or you reach out to the front desk of that hall, you can say, hey, would you be able to give this out to your residents? And they'll pass out and distribute those forms, your flyers, on behalf of your organization. Digital signage. So this is actually free for you as a student organization. This is located on the union's website. So if you have any flyers or any upcoming events or meetings that you would like to advertise, typically they're on those large screens that you see in the union. You can advertise for free, and that's just another way to get your event out there. Lawn signs, so you'll typically see those along the sidewalks or the streets. You can purchase those at Design Works. So I think they do charge about $10 to $12 for the sign and the stakes as well. And there are time frame restrictions. So no earlier than 2 days before your event and no later than 2 days after your event. So make sure that you pick them up, because if not, there could be liabilities with that as well. Other things to make sure that you're not doing and you're staying in compliance with is making sure you're not posting where you're not supposed to. So leaving, just loose flyers on a table in the union. You cannot do that. They have to be attached to something. Posting on light poles or fixtures. You probably see that around campus where a lot of flyers have been taken down. It's because they're not allowed to post there. Also in your bathroom. So just make sure if you have any questions about where to post, reach out to our office so we can make sure that your organization is in compliance. Other policies and procedures. So a lot of our organizations love to create t-shirts, which is great, but making sure that you do it in the right way. So if you're ever trying to use UNT logo or trademark, it must be approved by our university marketing, brand and strategy and communications. So if you have maybe an idea for a t-shirt or a flyer that you're advertising, you would have to get it reviewed by brand review at unt.edu. And this includes any posters, flyers, promo items, brochures, things of that nature. Just reach out to them if you have any questions. So this is just to make sure you're not stretching the diving eagle pink. You're not tie-dyeing the UNT logo, things of that nature, because you are representing the institution. So risk management. We have a whole video on YouTube as well as on Canvas about risk management. So if you want a more in-depth video, check out those two channels. But it pretty much goes over the 8 different topics about risk management. So alcohol, beverages and illegal drugs, hazing, sexual abuse, harassment, fire and other safety issues, travel, behavior at parties, adoption of a risk management policy for your organization, and then issues regarding persons with disabilities. So this is something to keep in mind when you are planning any events, whether it be on campus or off campus. Even if you do an event off campus, you are still seen as an organization and a part of UNT. You represent the institution. So just being mindful of, making sure that you're not only having safe events, but you're also abiding by university and state policy. So I'm at my last section of my presentation, and then we can ask questions, right? So resources. So a few resources I just like to highlight is free money. So I love free money, whether I get it from Asia or I get it from the government, whatever the case may be. SGA has an Eagle's Nest funding, right? And this is just a great way for you to not come out of pocket for any of your organizational events. So as long as you're a registered student organization, you can request this funding. So what you'll do is you'll submit an event application. You'll attend an SGA resource meeting. So once you attend one SGA resource meeting, you don't have to attend another one. So once for the year, and then you're good to go. Make sure that you complete the Eagle's Nest application in OrgSync at least 4 weeks before your event date. This way they have an adequate amount of time to review, and then you'll present in front of the Eagle's Nest committee. If you have any questions, please reach out to that email because they'll be able to respond back to you with any further answers or questions regarding your event. If you're a graduate student, we also have event funding as well through the Graduate Student Council. You must show that your events are supporting graduate students either through programs or services as well. So for more information about that, you can also check out GSC. So Asia's going to share one more resource as she comes down here.
So this was actually just revealed yesterday, but there's also another form. Can you go to OrgSync, please? So if you're part of, since your org's registered, if your officers on my mailing list, they would have gotten this announcement yesterday within the student org newsletter. Homepage, go down to the bottom. So in the student org newsletter, we scroll down towards the middle-ish. Scrolling, keep scrolling. Org resources, so org funding. So student activities acquire a lot of funding to assist orgs with other things. So if you're looking for tabling stuff or things that don't necessarily fall under the Eagle's Nest or the GSC funding, check that fund out. This is available for our registered student orgs who specifically do not receive student service fees already. So if you're not affiliated with the department or something like that nature, so definitely check that out. We have a lot of money to give out, so definitely start working with your org and coming up with how you want to allocate funds or some of the things, let's say, on your wish list, quote unquote, and check that out. And that's another way for y'all to get funding.
Yeah, so this would be great. So like if you're interested in doing maybe like organizational t-shirts, right? So it's not an event, but this is something that will benefit your organization. So t-shirts are really expensive. So I'm just going to put that out there. So if you're looking to do any type of t-shirts, or maybe you're wanting to do any type of tabling, so maybe getting like new tablecloths, things of that nature, this would be a great asset to your organization. And then the last thing I'll mention is lockers. So we have lockers here here as in the University Union, near Student Activities. They come in 3 different sizes, half full and split. Once we assign you a locker, it's good until April or May, so the end of the academic year, and you'll just apply in OrgSync after you are registered. So this is a great way, instead of just keeping things in your trunk, keeping things in your apartment, you have a central location on campus to keep all of your maybe tabling efforts, or if you have any events that you buy props for, you can just store it into that locker, and then you'll have that in one centralized location for the whole academic year. So that is the end of my presentation. So feel free to contact us or visit us in Student Activities in the University Union in Suite 345.